Hi. All right, we're going to get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the junior meeting. Hopefully, you're all juniors, right? And you're here for the junior meeting. You got emails from me. I'm Lee Lassiter Counts. I work in career services. I'm the internship coordinator, and I'm very glad to see all of you here today. This is going to be a brief meeting. We've got several folks lined up to give you some really good and very important information to help you make the most of your next 2 years at Hendrix. You've reached the halfway point. We want to make sure that you finish strong. So you should all have an agenda. Hopefully you all got one when you came in, and you should have all gotten a little red ticket. We're going to give away a Walmart gift card at the end of this. So we'll draw a ticket at the end, so stick around. And if you didn't get a red ticket, you can see Daniel back there at the door if you came in the other door. So with that, I'm going to pass the microphone to Dean Wilchin, and he'll talk to you next. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that. I want to apologize, first of all, because as soon as I'm done speaking, I will have to go to Daddy-Daughter Day at Woodrow Cummins School. So I know, it'll be fun. I knew they'd get a little awe, too. That works out. When I was thinking about things to say, last year I came out like a coach at halftime trying to fire you up. And I thought I can't do the same thing to each class, so I had to come up with something else. So I have a friend, his name's BJ, and I called him and I said, hey, we're close friends. I need some things to talk. I'm talking to juniors this week, and what do you think I should tell them? And first thing he sat there for a second, he said, well, they're halfway there. And I said, yeah. And he said, they're probably worried. They might be going to say a lot of prayers. I said, yeah. And he said, well, why don't you offer to take their hand and help them? I said, okay, I could do that. And then maybe tell them you'll make it, I swear. And I said, okay. And he says, because you're basically living on a prayer. I said, what? All right, we're halfway there. We are going to make it, and we're going to have we have done good work, and there's some good work to be done still. The good news is there's time, but there's also, there are opportunities. So one thing we want you to do is make sure you think about those things that you want to accomplish, and it's really time. If you haven't already narrowed down some of your goals for things you want to accomplish in your time here, you need to be doing that now. You also need to be, you're becoming the author of your own life, and that's something we talk about, and something you find out about who you are through the activities you engage in. The good news is, if you haven't done that yet, or if you haven't really started to figure that out, there's still a lot of opportunities to be involved and be engaged. There's so many activities and opportunities, including, if you're not sure where to start, come see myself, come see anyone that's probably speaking tonight, come see any of the people in student affairs, any of the academic advising folks. There's practically nowhere on campus you can turn and not find somebody that's going to give you some advice on how to be connected. You have to focus a bit more. It's one of those things where the first 2 years you kind of follow along the crowd. The crowd is kind of moving. You kind of said, where's this going? It's going to go somewhere good. Just follow along. Now you kind of are stopped, and a lot of people are kind of heading out in different ways, and you may be sitting there going, oh, my God, now I'm kind of on my own. And that's an accurate and okay feeling to have. Again, there are people here to help you with that feeling and help give you the guidance to find that pathway. You're still the person that's going to take you there, but we have people that can, as the song says, take your hand and help you find that way. We really can. The end of this is graduation. And that is what all about tonight is, because it's about thinking through some of the key elements that will put you on a stage less than 2 years from now, and have you leave here with a diploma. And so that's what we're asking. If you have any questions or things that you're thinking about or want to do, the exploration time isn't completely over, but it is now. Now is the time. You need to be talking about what you're doing. You need to talk to your advisor, making sure and I don't want to steal other people's thunder, but you got to be making sure that you're taking charge of the last 2 years. It's going to be a great 2 years, and we're going to have a lot of fun, but let's make sure we get to it. With that, I'll introduce Dr. George Harper, who will be talking to you next. Thank you all. Good luck.
Thank you, Dean Wilchin. Do we need this for recording purposes? Okay. I'm plenty loud. I don't really need this. I'm here representing the Odyssey office. You all have been hearing about Odyssey since before you ever came to Hendrix College, right? And maybe for some of you, it was the reason you came, one of the big reasons you came to Hendrix College. You're about halfway through, so I have a question. How many of you already have 3 Odyssey projects? And I'm not going to ask right now that they be in different categories. At least 3 Odyssey projects that you've done and completed. You've turned in your paperwork. You've done 3. Okay, all 6 of you, fantastic. How many have done 2? Completed. Looks like at least half of you. 1. Most of the rest of the half. Is anyone going to own up to 0? Owning it. That's good. You're owning it. That's good. All right, so you know the basic requirements, right? You have to complete 3 projects in 3 different categories, 1 in each of 3 different categories. 6 categories to choose from. You need to complete a project in half of the categories. Now, you have 3 different ways you can do that, right? You can take classes that are coded for Odyssey and get credit that way. You can do a pre-approved project or activity and get a credit that way, or you can propose your own. However you want to get your 3, it doesn't matter that you split up in those ways, just that you have the 3 different categories, the GA, the AC, the PL, the SP, the SW, and the UR. If you're not sure what those mean, see me later, we can talk about that. Now, being that you're only halfway through your time at Hendrix, you have lots of time. Don't panic if you haven't done 3, if you haven't done 2, if you haven't done 1, or even if you're in that position where you haven't done a single one. But now's the time, as the dean said, to be very thoughtful about it. How do you want to fulfill that? How do you want to use the Odyssey program to get credit for doing things that you just think are fantastic opportunities, things that you'd like grad schools to see, employers to see, showing up on your transcript? Because all of your Odysseys now show up on your transcript. And so how can you use the Odyssey program to do that? With 4 semesters left, if you haven't received a single Odyssey credit yet, you don't even have to average 1 per semester. But you need to be thinking about them. In fact, next Tuesday is the deadline for the funding cycle for winter break and the spring semester. Good time to put in a proposal, something you want to do over winter break, something you want to do during the spring semester. Great time to get that next Odyssey. One last thing, at least I think last. You don't have to stop with 3. You can do 6. You can do 12. You can do 24. You can do however many Odysseys you want to do. 3 is just the minimum requirement. So don't feel like, oh, I fulfilled my obligation, now I'm done with Odyssey. Odyssey is living life, doing things that are exciting, that you're learning from, that fit into one of those categories. The more Odysseys you have, well, from my point of view, the better. But it's totally up to you. So be thinking about Odyssey, be planning your Odysseys, excuse me. And with the time you have left, you shouldn't be one of those seniors who's trying to get all 3 done in that last semester. There's no need for that. Just be thinking about it. So now I'm going to turn you over to Ms. Julie Brown to talk about academic planning and majors.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm so glad to be here. So, you are halfway there, which is lovely. And I want to kind of carry on the theme of you're going to make it, don't panic. But I also like what Dr. Harper had to say about not just stopping at satisfying the requirements, right? You really should get the very most out of this experience. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about a little, is kind of filling in the gaps as you head toward graduation. So, who can tell me of the graduation requirements, name just a couple of the examples of the things you have to graduate? Just a couple, like as freshmen. The core college requirements. I know everyone here has the catalog memorized like I do. Anybody? Okay, hang on. Where are you? Woo, help him out. Okay, sorry. It's been a long time. Domains, what else? Okay. Major, yes, you did have the major. Okay, I'm just going to do it like this. Whee! Okay, there you go. So that's enough of my academic or athletic prowess. Make that look good, Corey, in the editing room. So, yes, the college has not forgotten that when you came here, we said ever so many domains, ever so many capacities. It's not just for freshmen. You should be checking that out. And you may say, well, isn't that what my advisor is for? Your advisor is for many things. But if you will ask a senior or someone who's graduated, the advisor's name is not on that diploma. Quite shocking, but it's just your name. And so you've got to make sure that you've got this all checked off. Really, really important. Who knows to the very core of their being that you have your W-1? Okay, if your hand's not up, you really should see me. You really should see me after class because you've got to get that. Why? Because you also have to have your W-2, and you can't get that until you have your W-1. So all doable, all possible. Don't let it go by the wayside. Okay, on to other things, declaring a major. Yeah, they're going to make you do it this year. Really, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, you won't be able to register for classes in the spring without a major. So I say avoid the spring rush and try to work on that now if you have not already gotten a major. Career Services sponsoring this lovely event. They are the people to see. If you're just having trouble between all the wonderful things that we have here at Hendrix, because we do have so many wonderful options, and you want to make the right choice. And I know students who think, well, I can't say goodbye to theater, or I can't say goodbye to physics. Talk with people in that major. Talk with professors in that major. If you need to take some interest inventories or something to Career Services, do that. But don't phone it in. Accounting is a wonderful major. I wish I had that kind of skill with numbers. They can work anywhere. God did not make us all to be accountants. And even if that's what your parents want you to do, unless you like it, really like it, it's probably not a good idea. So you owe it to yourself to put in the time to make the right decisions for yourself, okay? You're very flexible. You're more flexible than you know, but you want to get the very most out of this. And just a quick thing, Julie Brown from Academic Support, and I want to tell you kind of two of my responsibilities in that role. One, to help you keep your grades north. You got to have a 2, right, to graduate. Not only a 2 cumulative, you've got to have a 2 in your major. Yeah, so work for that. And I also work with students with disabilities to help them get the accommodations that they need. So if you'd like to have any kind of further conversation, I'll hang around after a while. I'm also in the SLTC on the 2nd floor, and I appreciate you letting me be here tonight. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Dr. Jay Barth, Professor of Politics, Director of Civic Engagement Projects, and he's going to talk about scholarships and fellowships.
Great. Thanks, Lee. All right. Well, I'm here to talk about distinguished scholarships and post-graduation fellowships, and I want to. There are a couple of misnomers I want to get out of the way. First off, this isn't all about post-graduation, because as I'll talk about in a few minutes, there are several opportunities that actually come alive this year, and I want to particularly highlight those for you. The second misnomer is that you have to be a 395 or above to be even eligible for these. Unquestionably, there are some scholarships for which a really high grade point is really pretty essential. But there are a lot more scholarships that are really about matching your skills and passions to the opportunity, okay? Where the grade point really just doesn't matter that much. So, I'm the person to talk to about what your skills and passions are and how you might link into distinguished scholarships. I'm not alone in this. My colleague as co-coordinator is Dr. Dorian Stuber in the English department. We share responsibilities, and in essence, we kind of divvy things up this way. I'm really the person that's here for the initial conversations about what your interests are and which scholarship opportunities might be particularly pertinent to you. Dr. Stuber really works heavily with self-presentation, especially in written form, especially as you work on the scholarship applications themselves. But he and I also then share a whole lot of responsibilities and a lot of we collaborate a whole lot. And so if you already have a relationship with Dr. Stuber, he's a good go-to person just as I am for these opportunities. I want to hit just a few dates for your calendar. First off, one of the scholarships that is a great junior scholarship, if you are interested in environmental studies or environmental science, the Udall Scholarship. It is available for juniors, and we have a series of a session on environmental studies related scholarships, including the Udall on September 30th, 4:15 p.m. over in Mills B. We have a broader conversation about junior opportunities and also a preview of what's to come next year, which will happen the 8th of October, same room, same time. If you're unavailable for that because of practice or of some sort or some other commitment, of course, just come by and see me about those opportunities. In this session, we're going to have a particular focus on the Truman Scholarship, which is dedicated to aiding those who are interested in public service and who have exhibited the traits of being good social change agents. That is a junior year only award, so it's a one-time opportunity, and we'll have some particular focus on that on October 8th. Another junior year award, in addition to the Udall and the Truman, is the Goldwater Scholarship. And you likely, if you are someone who's a natural scientist interested in research in that area, you've likely heard from Dr. Todd Tinsley. He had an entry in Hendricks Today. Go search for that. And he is very much willing and able to talk about that really very attractive scholarship. Now, in the spring, and along the way, while these are the two that we have scheduled coming up, and another key opportunity, you'll get emails from either me or Dr. Stuber. Just don't delete those immediately, okay? At least read them and say, is this something that seems to touch on some of my interests? And those are some opportunities that are going to be coming along. In the spring, we have a whole series of 4 sessions that are really dedicated to the entirety of the process, getting folks ready for that larger number of scholarships that come online your senior year. And so we'll be reaching out to you about the opportunity for these series that happen about once a month in the spring semester that get you ready by the time you leave next May to be ready to go with some distinguished scholarship opportunities for your senior year. And so that's a bit about distinguished scholarships. I'm available in SLTC 245 for a conversation. Obviously, either Dr. Stuber or me available for a visit or an email to set up a visit. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Peg Falls-Corbett, who wears a lot of hats, but today she is wearing her Miller Center hat, where she's director and going to talk about volunteer opportunities and the Miller Center.
Good afternoon. I am going to talk to you about possibilities through volunteering. At the end of my remarks, my brief remarks, I will talk about things that are funding that might be available for service opportunities through the Miller Center itself. But first I want to put a plug in for getting serious about doing some volunteering during your junior year. It really is a good time to do that. The volunteering can be involved or be appropriate for almost any Odyssey category that you can think of. Obviously, service to the world can involve volunteering. But you can volunteer at a nonprofit, and you might turn that into a kind of internship that becomes professional and leadership development. You can volunteer abroad, and it can make a good global awareness project. So serving others can be very good for satisfying your Odyssey credit. Dr. Harper mentioned the deadline that's coming up for winter and spring, which is October 1, right around the corner. But of course, February 1. That is an important date for funding projects during this coming summer. This coming summer, the summer between your junior and your senior year, is just a wonderful time for you to bring all that you have matured in yourself through your time here to a project that explores the world through service or through internships, and come back into that senior year knowing more about yourself and about the world. So I just think the summer after the junior year, really crucial, wonderful time to do something exciting. There are practical reasons to do this, the kinds of scholarships that Dr. Barth just talked about, whether it's the Rhodes, the Watson, things like that. You, through volunteering, especially in an intense summer experience after your junior year, by volunteering in that intense way, you will discover talents and skills and things about yourself that can figure significantly into the personal statements and make you attractive for those scholarships. They can, sometimes students come into their senior year and they suddenly say, I want a gap year. Right? And they start thinking about Peace Corps, Teach America, City Year. But sometimes they haven't done the sort of projects leading up to that point that would really make them viable candidates for those kinds of gap year experiences. So if you're thinking, graduation, don't know, maybe gap year, think about using volunteer experiences after your junior year to discover some of that. Also, it's just volunteering is a good way now. Again, I'm thinking you as mature, self-authored agents. Right? You've gotten somewhere in your college career studying. You know more about yourself and what you want to do. But sometimes students haven't at this point really tested their theories about the way they want the world to be, their ethical ideals and their social ideals yet. They've been learning a lot, they've been studying a lot, maybe taking ethics classes, politics classes, and so on, but they haven't taken their theories that are in their heads and tested them out in the field. Odyssey obviously is for that, and volunteering is a very important way to take your ideas about what society should be like and try it out, volunteering at a nonprofit or working in public service sorts of volunteer situations. So I encourage you to do that. Volunteering also tells you something that maybe your classes have talked about, but what is the view of those in our world who have had much less investment in them than you? I didn't put it in terms of your wealth. Not all of us in this room are wealthy, but everybody in this room has had a major investment in them through this education. Do you still know the view of those who haven't had that? We might call them the socially marginalized. Volunteering is a wonderful way before you leave this college to know what is the view of those who don't have this kind of investment, and how do I want to use that knowledge in shaping my future career, my future role in society. So volunteering helps you find out about the world, especially from the point of view of those that are in need materially. It also helps you find out about yourself. I read a lot of journals through the Miller Center from people who do service projects, and time again they say, until I did this project, which may have had nothing to do with his or her actual career aspirations at the time, until I did that, I did not know that I wanted to do this in the world. So just take it from me, it's a very good way to explore your vocation, is service to others. Finally, Miller Center opportunities, things that are related to money that you might want to know about. The Miller Center offers stipends for internships at nonprofits or faith-related communities. So we'll have a round coming up for spring internship stipends of $1,000, and those applications will be due November 14th. And so you can do the Odyssey round October 1, but you can still have an opportunity for those. And then summer internship stipends for $2,000 are possibilities through the Miller Center, and that is the same time as the Odyssey round, April 1. And then Miller Center service fellowships are grants for up to $4,000 to do an intense summer service experience either abroad or in the United States, and that deadline will be February 1. Good opportunity there. Then finally, if you say, well, I'm not quite ready for these, and she keeps saying intense, she keeps saying individual experiences, I'm still not ready for that, think about other options. One is, think about in your senior year, over the summer of your junior year, watch for things from the Miller Center about our group mission trips. Again, wonderful ways in which students have sometimes come to conclusions that they're going to take radically different ways when they graduate. So think about those. And then finally, if you just think, well, right now I want to get involved in my community, but I haven't really known how to do that, our office, SLTC 129, has the Miller Center, it has the Volunteer Action Committee in there, and we are a resource for what you might do for volunteering. We have this thing, you saw it in Explorations your freshman year. Actually, it looked like this. I'll show you, take time. Volunteer opportunities in Hendricks. We update it every year. It's now updated for you. And what we've added is a sheet of questions. If you're wondering, what's good for me to do? Here's a set of questions you might run through to think about the kind of volunteer experiences that help you know what you want to know about the world or about yourself. And then if after doing that you still want to talk to me or to J.J. Whitney in my office, please see us. So volunteer. And volunteering we can think of in terms of service with nonprofits. Think also in terms of public service and being change agents. And I think Pericles will be having announcements sometime during the year about possible grants from Pericles for those kinds of things. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Lee Laster-Counts.
Okay, I just have a few things to let you know about the Office of Career Services. Now is the time to come see us. If you haven't seen us already, I see a lot of familiar faces, either through internships or one-on-one appointments. We are here to help you. And so we are kind of a trifecta, if you will, if you want to think of 3 different ways that we can help you. We have Jamie Fodio in our office who specializes in employment and employers, so she can help you with work study, part-time jobs, full-time jobs after graduation. Maybe you're looking for a job opportunity during the summer. She is excellent with helping students prepare for that. So if you're not on the grad school track and you're starting to plan ahead for what's my work life going to look like after Hendricks, now's a great time to start that conversation. If you've never put together a resume, it's a great practice to go through to see where maybe there are some gaps that you can fill in with an internship, with a service opportunity, with anything along those lines. So that's Jamie in our office, and we definitely help students with employment. But that's not all we do. We're not just for seniors who are looking for jobs. I run the internship program. This is an excellent way to kind of try on a career, is how I put it. So if you are a politics major and you really think that you want to run for office and be involved in politics that way, well, let's get you involved in a campaign this coming fall. It's going to be a big campaign season, right? But there's a whole other way, many other ways you can take a politics degree. You can do public policy. You can go to law school. Let's explore those avenues. And so our students do internships all over this region, all over the state, internationally even in the summertime. So please come see me if you would like to learn more about the internship opportunities or anything that would involve the professional leadership category with Odyssey. And definitely I encourage you, of course I'm going to encourage you to do an internship, but also don't just do it because it's a box you need to check for Odyssey, right? Do it because it's going to help you explore how you want to spend your life after Hendricks. Hendricks is a wonderful place to develop and nurture you. You're here for 4 wonderful years, but you're in the rest of your life for 60 or who knows how many years afterwards. So really just thinking about it. You don't have to have definite plans, but just thinking about it, talking to us about it, that's what we're here for, and that's what we like to help you with. So please come see us. The third area of our office is with graduate school. A lot of students don't realize that we help students prepare for graduate school. Personal statements, interviewing, deciding if graduate school is right for you, which area to study, right? Graduate schools are really specific, so you don't just go for a master's in biology, right? You go for a master's in some super duper specific field of biology. So let us have that conversation with you. Definitely talk with your academic advisor about that and your major advisor as well. But Dr. Amanda Moore is new to our staff. She's definitely not new to Hendricks. She's a graduate as well and has been in the library for many, many years. She's just joined Career Services as our graduate school expert. And she has a lot of great experience helping students write those personal statements, reflect on what they've learned here and what they want to learn in the future, but also reflecting on, is graduate school right for me, or am I just doing this because I don't know what else to do? I've gone to school my whole life. I'm just going to keep going to school. Don't make graduate school that reason for you. So Amanda is a wonderful person for you to talk with. We also have Danny Powell in our office. He's our director, and he loves to meet with students who are just kind of wrestling with that idea of what's my life going to look like after Hendricks. And so he's a great counselor to meet with as well. So all 4 of us are in SLTC right along the Green Mile. Schedule an appointment, come during our walk-in hours. We are very happy to help you start thinking and start putting together a plan for what your life might look like after Hendricks, whether it's along your major path or following a passion or just exploring the world out there. We want to help you with that. So to that end, I thought you might like to hear from one of your fellow students who has been through the internship process and can tell you a little bit more. Just like that summer after your junior year that Dr. Falls Corbett was talking about is a great time to do volunteer service and find out a lot about yourself. It's also an ideal time to do an internship. You're far enough along in your major that you know some specific directions for your academic interests and talents. And so putting those to test in the workplace or with a nonprofit of your choosing is a great way to learn, wow, this really is what I want to do, or, ooh, maybe this isn't exactly what I want to do. So Laura has had 2 great internships, and I want her to talk to you now. So I'll introduce Laura to you.
Hey guys, like Lee said, I've had 2 internships while I've been here, and both of them actually occurred during my junior year, so to hit home, that's a great time. The first of which was I was the behavioral medicine intern at the University of Arkansas Medical School, and I had that internship from May 2012 until May 2013. And I'm a psych major, so I was always told if you're trying to get into psych grad school that you really need to have some field experience. So that was really my motivator in getting that internship, not really because I wanted to do it, just because it was necessary. And I learned a lot of really cool things. I was basically treated like a med school student, and so I got to sit in on patient exams and prognosis, and that was really cool, in addition to administering assessments. But kind of the less glamorous side of that was I spent the majority of that year in a lab by myself in front of a computer, entering data, analyzing data, sending out packets, and calling people. And so that really kind of showed me that that was not what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life, or really even go to more school to get to do that. And so I did a formal internship through the school with that, and I got Odyssey credit for it. And what that meant was that I attended classes during the semester. There were 3 classes you had to go to, and then a couple of assignments that you had to do. So super manageable if you're trying to get that experience. But actually through my internship class was where I learned about the second internship that I had. One of the other girls was working on an organic farm in Bologna called Ratto's Garden. And I was like, wow, that would be really interesting. So I went straight to Lee's office, and after talking to this girl, I realized, okay, I really want to do that. And I kind of changed all my summer plans, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna realize if I like this, I better do it now. I'm coming into my senior year. And so I spent the first half of the summer working on the farm. I was a farmhand. I was picking, I was planting, going to market, seeing all aspects of working on a farm. And that was very beneficial for me because I realized I don't think I actually want to do that the rest of my life either. Yeah, it's very glamorous, but I didn't want to do it. However, it really made me realize that where our food comes from and the food that we're putting in our body is something that's very important to me. And so to me, that was just as beneficial as, learning that I didn't want to go to grad school, because I realized something else that I'm really passionate about. And through that internship, I didn't do the classes. I just got the information through Career Services, but I didn't take the classes or get any credit for it. And I mean, if you're not wanting to commit to the classes or something, or giving up one of your classes during the semester, I encourage you to do it that way also, because you can get just as much good experience. And so my plug for Career Services, you should just go on over and see what you can find for yourself, because I just went in and talked to Lee one day, and she was friends with this farmer, and so I was able to get my contact through that. So you don't know what's in there for you. So thanks.
Thanks, Laura. So sometimes internships help you find out what you do want to do and reconfirm that. Some help you understand what paths you don't want to go down. Way closing, right? If you've ever done anything with the Miller Center, sometimes doors closing can be helpful as well as doors opening. So you can learn a lot through an internship. Thank you, Laura, for coming to do that. So I will be sending an email out with a link to this video. If you had friends or teammates or you have friends studying abroad, we wanted to be able to get this information to them as well. Also in that email, I'll put in some helpful contact information websites for the folks that have spoken today. So if you do have follow-up questions or information, I'll give you good contact information for someone in the Miller Center with volunteering, someone in Odyssey to help you with those questions. Obviously, Julie Brown, she's an excellent resource, and there'll be Dr. Barth's information as well. So look for that via email from me as soon as I get the video link on YouTube. That'll have all that information as well, so that you can follow up from this meeting with any of us that are here with more information. So that is the last bit of official business. So now I'll get Laura to draw our door prize. We have a $25 Walmart gift card to give away. So come draw a ticket. Get your tickets out. Don't sway the jury. Okay, so we'll just do the last 401, the last 3 digits, 401. 401. Oh, yay, all right.